Hey everybody, so this is going to be a little bit different video. Obviously I'm driving right now. I'm going to edit this in with some other stuff, but you know, I've talked to Bridget Cruz, talked to her on the phone, and obviously there's this big brouhaha going around right now with the Rolling Stone magazine essentially kind of pinning Priscilla down and calling her out. Which I think is a very telling sign that maybe her fantasy world is crumbling. And of course, I know that there are still Priscilla fans on this page, and heck, you know, if you love Elvis, you know, you're always welcome here, and you're always welcome to argue with me or disagree with me, or as long as you do it respectfully. But here's what I know. Priscilla was in a world of trouble, and of course I'll get to Bridget in just a little bit. Priscilla was in a world of trouble when it came to her finances. So was Lisa. This had to do with Priscilla's genius business mind, her ability to turn around dying businesses and ventures and make them successful. Not once in her life, from what I've seen, has she done anything besides, you know, they say when you try to plant something or keep something growing and it dies immediately, they call it some sort of a touch, not Midas touch. That'd be a gold thing. But anyways, not once have I ever seen Priscilla succeed in a business venture, and managing her daughter's finances with Barry Siegel. I think it's Siegel, not Siegel. There's no exception. Lisa was set for life. Even if she would have spent a bunch of money, she was set for life. You know, the settlement. Hold on, let's go back. So obviously, Lisa was caretaking. Priscilla was caretaking Lisa's money. We know this, right? And Priscilla was allowed to take over the estate at 25. I believe, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but Priscilla convinced Lisa to wait longer, and she continued at the helm. When Lisa did get the money, yes, she did spend money. Priscilla was taking money, in a sense, from the estate. She was on the board of directors or whatever, getting paid to represent a fairy tale story. Well, her and Barry Siegel, hopefully I'm not saying that wrong, made the genius decision to invest in the American Idol Corporation. Now, we know Priscilla was dating Nigel too. Don't know what it was before, after, during. That's for y'all to come with me and come to me and let me know what you find out. But they made this genius idea to invest nearly every bit of Lisa's fortune into this American Idol Corporation. Well, what happens? Immediately, they file for bankruptcy. Lisa's money is gone. At least a lot of it's gone. So if you want to know where Lisa's troubles, financial troubles, came from, it's not the fact that she spent a lot of money. Yes, she did spend a lot of money. We know this. It's due to the fact that Priscilla squandered it away with her geniusness. And in turn, Priscilla's finances were always tied to Elvis and tied to Lisa. And that's why, right there is why, you know, she started having financial problems of her own as well. And then Lisa found out that Priscilla was collecting money, right? And when she found out that Priscilla was collecting money and Barry was collecting money and mismanaged her finances, well, that's when the estrangement, from what I've been told from sources, what I've seen, happened. You know, fast forward. I'm gonna be right back. All right, I'm back. So fast forward to Lisa's passing. Just like when Elvis passed away, Lisa cut out Priscilla. There's a lot more to this too, which I know some I can't share, some I can share. But Priscilla was in shock. in shock that Lisa would cut her out of the will, that she wasn't included in the life insurance policy, that she wasn't included in, that her son wasn't included in there. What says entitled more than a handout when somebody dies? That's the way Priscilla was when Elvis passed away. She took over the Lisa Marie, obviously because she expected that she was in charge, that she was going to be in charge. Because she didn't know Elvis had cut her out of the will. Taken her out completely, given her nothing, not a single penny, not a thank you, not, oh, I love you still, not you can have my shirt, not you can have my dresser in my bedroom, nothing. She was given nothing, just like with Lisa. And I've talked to Bridget Cruz. I'm going to share some of Bridget with you, what I can. And, you know, it goes even deeper. Now, let's talk about Bridget for a moment, okay? Because I think that some of y'all don't like her, and some of you do like her. Some of y'all say she's getting what she deserves. Not just because you don't like Priscilla, but you felt like she was helping Priscilla. Yes, she was helping Priscilla. But she thought she was helping Elvis's family. Not just Priscilla, but the granddaughters. Sometimes your heroes let you down. And this is a scenario where I believe Bridget was very much fooled by a soft-talking Priscilla. A soft-talking Priscilla that pretended to be a certain person that she was not. The same person that fooled Elvis. The same person that fooled everybody that she's come into contact with. And so, not only did Bridget try to help Priscilla and Lisa and Riley and the granddaughters and Navarone, but yes, she was going to financially benefit from this. You know, that's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. I mean, it's not that she's hiding from that fact, but she is a businesswoman. She has put successful things together. She has done stuff on her own. She has made money. She is a businesswoman. She's what Priscilla is not. And this video recording of Priscilla Presley completely shoots a hole in the theory that Priscilla was taken advantage of. Elder abuse, right? So, like I said, Bridget is a businesswoman. She was going to help Priscilla recover from Priscilla's horrific business sense. You know, she had done a number of things, which when I share the Rolling Stone article, if you haven't read it yet, she had sold the rights to her last name, not her last name in the first place, but, you know, she was divorced. Legally, I can't imagine you can keep somebody's last name, but maybe you can. Maybe she could have kept that last name, but she sold the rights, the licensing rights to Presley. So she needed to figure out how to monetize her first name, Priscilla, because that's all Elvis Presley Enterprises, you know, was going to allow her to do, to use, was Priscilla. And as you can see, she can't use any Elvis music. So she was trying to figure out how to keep from completely going broke, because she has no business sense in her mind. She doesn't even know how to do basic math from what I've seen, you know, in the documents of the divorce case. Not the brightest banana in the bunch, they say. So this was what Bridget Cruz had set about to do. She set about to help Priscilla manage her finances, get her opportunities, help her to make money. And in turn, you know, she was involved with the Keoghs too. Riley, and of course the Lockwoods, Harper and Finley, and of course Navarone. So some of y'all are going to not feel bad about her at all, because once again, you don't like Navarone, you don't like Priscilla. But this is just somebody that got caught in a buzzsaw that thought she was getting involved with somebody special, which was Priscilla, which Priscilla's not special. At least not to most of us. And she thought, okay, gosh, you know, being an Elvis fan, it's a way to kind of be close to Elvis too. I think that a lot of us, you know, would like to be around Elvis memorabilia, be around people that Elvis was around, and I don't think that she realized what type of person Priscilla was until this happened. Well, what happened was Bridget and the attorneys that she was working with and in partnership with Priscilla, they negotiated the settlement. They made peace within the family, or at least enough peace. And as soon as that happened, Priscilla had a cash cow again. She had money coming in. She had negotiated $900,000 or $1 million, whatever, up front, plus legal fees. She had money. And then she thought, okay, well, I can take this money with my genius business sense, hire a different team probably, cut out Bridget, and claim elder abuse. I mean, she hasn't been all there all of her life in the first place. I mean, she hasn't made money on anything she's touched. She's lost all of her money, and she's had to have other people help her succeed. So anyhow, once again, Bridget cut in a buzzsaw that's known as Priscilla. You know, Priscilla Bobblehead is what I like to call her. You know, y'all like to call her Prissy. But like I said, I communicate with Bridget here and there, and she's invited me out to functions, and I just haven't had a chance to come out to them yet. But what I do know is that I think at the heart of Bridget is a very kind person, very driven person, a successful businesswoman. And I think that she did have the Presley family's best intentions at heart when she did all this. Yes, she got a higher percentage than Priscilla. Yes, she was named power of attorney, or one of the two power of attorneys. Part of that might have to do with if Priscilla ever got sued. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. All right, I'm back. So once again, this is kind of a little more difficult to do today because I'm driving, but I think I can talk and safely drive. So what have Bridget and I talked about? Here's a screen recording of our communication earlier today, and I hope it gives you a more insider look. And like I said, I spent 2.5 hours with Bridget on the phone as well, maybe closer to 3. And the things she has to say about Priscilla, and this is somebody that was around her almost nonstop for a long time. Somebody that her kids looked at like a grandma. Who Priscilla really is who you and I know she is. Think of the worst things in the world. Confirmation right there. You think she loves Elvis fans? You think she loves even her own fans? Now, I've been around famous people who like to make fun of those that adore them. I know those type of people, and that's why I say sometimes your heroes can disappoint you. And I believe that if Priscilla's fans knew who Priscilla was, you know, it would be like, what's that, the Salem witch trials? Oh boy, Priscilla she'd be at the center of that, and there would be hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands, or I don't know whether she's got more fans than 10 or 15, but I'm assuming she probably has a couple hundred here and a couple hundred there. But they would be all there, ready to persecute, let's just say. I don't want to get too, but anyways, I'm going to share the conversation. You know, Bridget's talked about wanting to come on the show. She'll come at some point in time. I don't want to get, you know, I don't know whether I think she's gone to somebody else's channels as well. Whether she comes on the channel is going to be completely up to her. And she knows she has to stand an invitation. And I think she's trying to fight for her life right now because Priscilla's trying to utterly destroy her. Not just her, but her kids. That's the type of person that you and I know she is, right? That's what's going on. And this Rolling Stone article that came out, it puts Priscilla in her place. I mean, I don't see how any judge reasonably could side with Priscilla, but you never know. You never know. They say this talks, and she's successfully gotten some of this stuff tried in California where this really talks. I don't know the judges involved. I just know, and I'm talking about in general, that this can happen. I'm not saying it happened, but it can, right? You and I know this. There's Netflix documentaries about this sort of thing, okay? This is the land of O.J. Simpson, where O.J. Simpson got off with, with a slap on the hand because of, Priscilla Presley. Oh, I shouldn't even say that name. It's not her name. She can't use it. Not for benefit, financial benefit. Priscilla Bobblehead dated and tortured Elvis with a relationship by putting the phone in between them at nighttime in the middle of stuff, according to Robert. According to Child Bride, Suzanne Finstead. Anyhow, at the end of this screen recording that you're going to look at, I went ahead and did some screen recordings of your comments because I do appreciate you. So this is a bit of a mashup. I have a date day with my wife that's coming up, and I'm still working right now, but I've got a date day coming up where we got to travel into Nashville. We're going to go to the Nashville Rodeo, watch some bull riding, like songwriting, bull riding, some barrel racing, some bronc busting, and then Reba McEntire show after that. So I didn't have the time today to do the normal video of reading like I really wanted to, but talking to Bridget, I felt like I wanted to put it out there for your benefit, to continue for you to see who Priscilla is, for the people that love Priscilla to see who she is, or at least give you another side to it, right? So TCB TLC, this is Joe Sims, Ray Evers Photos. Have a wonderful day. All right, so as you can see here, this is Bridget. This is the end of a message. She invited me out to something. And I wanted to let her know that I'd seen the Rolling Stone article. So I shot her a message, and as usual, Bridget gets back to me super quick, which just shows me, how an effective businesswoman runs her life. People that she considers important enough to respond back, she gets to it. And I did let her know that I certainly hope that this helps the case turn towards her. And I asked her if she had any message for y'all. Okay, and this was her response that she sent me back. I just want people to watch the full video. Which is down in the lower part of the story. All you have to do is type in Rolling Stone Priscilla Bridget Cruz, and you're going to find this article, and you're going to find the video, which is down in the lower part of the story. The entire thing just breaks my heart. Everything I ever did was at her request, and because I loved her like a mother. You know how some people can fool you. Like I said, she was fooled by Priscilla. My children even looked to her as a grandmother figure. I would never do anything to hurt anyone. I know I'm a nobody, and she is famous. And I'm learning the hard way that sometimes when people need your help, it's best just to wish them well and to walk away. So I don't know, and there's more to this conversation. I'm just going to scroll up here. It's just so heartbreaking. Y'all have been around somebody that's completely fooled you, right? I know we all have. I know in my lifetime I have as well. Even if sometimes you have that little radar going off that this person's a bad person, or this person's not good for you, or this person is being dishonest and deceitful. Sometimes you continue along that path. Whether you think you're going to save them, fix them, help them. And then sometimes, it could be, and once again, I'm not going to accuse Bridget of doing anything, because I believe that everything was on the up and up. And the video itself in the Rolling Stone article really shows that Priscilla was not being honest, saying that she didn't agree to this and didn't agree to that. She agreed to everything. Um, Now I'm sure what they're going to do, as you continue to read this message thread, what they're going to try to do, Priscilla's attorneys, is paint her as an elder with without a mind, without having a mind, that that she is not capable of running her own finances, making her own business decisions. But they're not going to be able to prove that Bridget and this attorney uh, duped her, because first off, this that would have had to have been sorted out well before this. Now, Priscilla did make them her power of attorney, but once again, there's many, many reasons for doing this. First off, I mean, she didn't have a relationship with Lisa, from what sources and have said. She didn't really truly have a relationship with Riley until recently. Yes, she was at family functions, but there's a big difference between having a real, true relationship with somebody and then entrusting them to run your financial life. Obviously, Priscilla felt that she couldn't do anything for herself when it came to the business side of business. And right there, you know, for those people that truly still believe that Priscilla is a genius, it's gonna throw it right there, throw a wrench in their ideas and their thinking. Um, so sorry, I had to step away real quick. Um, but like I said, I think that once again, I think a lot of you subscribers, and I'm always very honest about my intentions. I know half of y'all don't like Bridget, or at least a great deal, because she did help Priscilla. And so when I said that to Bridget, this was her response. Um, and I love that Bridget is very open. She's always been open and honest and forthright with me. She hasn't tried to hold anything back. She has in phone conversations said, "Hey, this is something that between you and me." Okay, and I'm all about that. If somebody trusts me, if they trust me with the conversations, that until they tell me that I can let it loose, the details of it, I'm not going to. Um, I mean, I want to be able to sleep at night. But essentially, Bridget said this. What she said was, "I didn't help Priscilla with perusing her granddaughters right after Lisa passed. For the record, it was me and my team that solidified an attorney to protect the twins' interests after Lisa passed. We always wanted the family to remain close and be a unit. I have thousands of texts and emails that prove that. Anything that happens or choices that were made was all Priscilla. Also, if Priscilla feels that we interfered, then she can simply give the money back to her granddaughters, and Navarone can give back the 2.3 million he got. This will also come out. If it weren't for me and Kevin Fialco, the girls would have never received the 25 million life insurance money. Lisa was going to cash that in right before she passed. And everything, and I'll talk to that and respond to that in just a moment. Everything we have ever done was to keep the family close and protect them. So here's something that, when you have money, you can essentially um, protect it, kind of a tax shelter in a life insurance policy. And I know this because I've sold life insurance before, and I was licensed. What Lisa probably did was she probably had a policy that either gained value or had a cash out value to it. And Lisa was struggling financially. We all know this. That's why there was a little bit of, not suspicion, but fear that maybe she had taken part a little bit in, or somehow maybe she had been part of the getting a loan on Graceland and defaulting. Okay, it wouldn't be outside the realm of possibility regardless, because she was in financial ruin because of her, I think because of her mom, because of the business dealings between her and Barry. I mean, Marco Garibaldi, Navarrone's father, even said he would testify for Lisa on her behalf against Priscilla and Barry. So, I mean, what would have happened if she would have cashed out that policy? Well, the twins still would have been okay, I think, and so would have Riley. Okay, Riley's an actress. She makes her own money. They still would have had the 15% stake in Graceland, owned Graceland, and the 15% stake in Elvis Presley Enterprises. That'd have been okay. But the fact that Lisa was considering that just shows how far her finances crashed, in a sense, because of the bad businesswoman that Priscilla is, and and why Lisa cut her out of her business dealings. So, this is just real interesting. I mean, Bridget didn't want to have to do this. She thought that maybe she'd found an extended family. Now, we know what we know about Priscilla, right? Definitely not somebody you want to get involved with. Look what happened to Elvis. You know what I'm saying? Look what happened to Lisa. You know what I'm saying? But, you can't blame Bridget for trying to be kind, for also trying to be a smart businesswoman and perhaps even elevate her status. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't look at that as anything wrong or anything bad. If you're in the business of Elvis, like she was, a part of what her business was, you're going to try to associate yourself with somebody else. And I really got to talk to. I don't believe that she knew Lisa before. I believe that she probably knows Riley and Harper and Finley through Priscilla. But like I said, what I'm learning here is just more about Priscilla that makes me glad that you and I are a community together. Glad that we can see the truth, and that, this is just something that helps to solidify our opinion. Maybe when we're getting, let's say, gaslighted by other people that are Priscilla fans or family members that think Priscilla is wonderful. This is a case that's going to live with Priscilla forever, in my opinion. And hopefully maybe tear down some of the fantasy fairy tale that she has created, that she would probably say it's to protect Elvis's image, maybe, but she's certainly profiting, making money off of it, and it's more to protect her, I think, than Elvis, my opinion, of course. Well, we're almost done with this video here, but as you can see, she kind of responded back to this little section. Well, I hate that you had to go through all of that, because it's a lot of baggage to carry through. Lisa was going through, that she was going to cash in all that stuff. And I asked her whether I could quote her. Because once again, I don't want to say something that's going to interfere with, her court case. I mean, her freedoms, she has all the texts, and I could ask her to send me a bunch of stuff, and maybe I will, but at the same time, I don't want to say busybody. I know this is kind of making my business to know what's going on in the world of Elvis, but I don't want to get anybody in trouble, and I just want things to flow fluently without seeking it out for attention. Let's just say that. So with that being said, if you stayed this long, I get a treat for you. In addition to these wonderful comments of y'all that you've put on here, I have a new song that I wrote and produced. That's about Priscilla, in a sense. So without further ado, here it is. It's what we all believe and what we all think.
What can you do when you've been led into a trap? She laid the bait with those pretty eyes as she sat up on his lap. Her mother whispered in her ear, "He's the ticket to our dreams. Do whatever it takes. the king. He tried to make his getaway with a woman that was his equal. Instead, the threat was made, and he married the one so evil. Mother whispered in her ear, he is the ticket to our dreams. Do whatever it takes, we will make the perfect team. I'll put the pretty crown up on your head, my daughter, my queen. And so they did, and they took down the king. And still today she prances about telling that fairy tale story, but she'll never convince his true fans she did nothing but destroy his glory. Her mother whispered in her ear, he is the ticket to our dreams. Do whatever it takes, we will make the perfect team. I'll put the pretty crown up on your head, my daughter, my queen. And so they did, and they took down the king. I'll put the pretty crown up on your head, my daughter, my queen. And so they did, and they took down the king.
So these are great comments here, Gordon. I definitely read all of these comments, by the way. So once again, I do have a date night with my wife, and so I don't have a chance to read these out loud like I normally do. But I definitely appreciate every one of you, and the comments about Larry, and comments about Priscilla, and about the book, which I'm going to continue reading tomorrow, Child Bride. Plus, I'm going to continue reading. Tomorrow will be a bigger day. I think I'll probably have at least 2 longer videos, if not 3. Thanks to everybody on this channel. I'm going to play some more music while these comments roll. It's going to be another one that's kind of newer. So if you stuck around this far, once again, you're rewarded as well. And I appreciate those that make it to the end. And if you can't make it to the end, I get it. Sometimes you got stuff to do, and you can't do it. Okay? TCB, TOC, this is Joe Sends Wherever's Photos.
Everywhere he turned, someone had their hand out. Did he ever have any real friends? We know he had his doubts. He had the world at his fingertips, but he was trapped in his room, so sick inside, and almost none of us knew. He'd fall down on his knees, crying out to the Lord, but he knew his time was coming. Yes, his time was too short. He was loved by his fans, no matter what shade. We loved him at 42 and loved him at 18. He had the world at his fingertips, but he was trapped in his room, so sick inside, and almost none of us knew. He'd fall down on his knees, crying out to the Lord, but he knew his time was coming. Yes, his time was too short. If he just knew he wouldn't have mind him taking a break, he could have canceled his shows and still be alive today. He had the world at his fingertips, was trapped in his room, so sick inside, and almost none of us knew he'd fall down on his knees, crying out to the Lord. But he knew his time was coming. Yes, his time was too short. Yes, his time was too short. But now he's with the Lord.